Welcome to EWA's FIN-LYT podcast. EWA is a fee-only RIA based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We hope all listeners of this podcast will benefit as we deep dive into complex financial topics that we will make simplified for you. And we hope that this really serves as a catalyst so that you can make the best financial planning decisions for your family and also save time. Welcome, everyone. This week's episode of FIN-LYT by EWA, joined here by Tyler Bidwell, CPA, Director of Tax. Tyler, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, I wanted to get, as we gear up into tax season, what would be, and I want to gear this down into like 3 tips. So first, let's focus on what are 3 tips that you would give to someone proactively to have the best tax filing experience. Minimize room for errors, minimize back and forth, just kind of, if you're to describe a flawless tax process, filing, follow through, what would be the top tips you would give someone if they want to do their part in preparation?
Biggest thing I would say is get to work early. December, there's a lot of, it's important for your advisor to be proactive. It's just as important for clients to be proactive because there's things that you can think about before the year ends, whether it's, as you know, retirement plan contributions, should we purchase equipment for our business, can we put money into 529s, HSAs. So proactivity is, I think, one of the biggest things that you can do, and it avoids any kind of surprises.
So Tyler, just real quick to ask a couple follow-up questions on that, because you say December, which makes complete sense. There's a lot of stuff you can do after December. Like you can do an IRA contribution till April 15th. But when we talk about big tax strategies, do you have like a percentage basis in your mind? Because I know the big ones in my mind, putting a car in Section 179, like buying a commercial, real, whatever it is, it's a December 31st deadline if you're looking for it for that tax year. So do you know in your mind like what percentage? So there's stuff you can do, obviously, to prepare for the tax filing. But if you're working on proactive like tax planning, tax savings, how many of those are December 31st deadline?
Yeah, equipment purchases, vehicles, those things are important. Those are always on a calendar year. If you're, you own a business and you're a cash basis business, cash basis taxpayer, maybe you do work in the last couple weeks of the year for a customer or a client, and you don't want to collect. Maybe you want to defer collecting some of that income, or it works on the other side. Maybe you have some vendors that you have some open payments for, and you want to get those remitted so you're able to capture the expense within the calendar year. The little things like that.
Yeah, we've done that before as well. Prepaid some stuff for that. Okay, interesting. So that's tip number 1. Is proactive, preparation planning that starts in December, not April 14th of the following year.
Yeah.
The day before.
Yeah.
All right, what's tip number 2?
It's an accountant's, tax preparer's worst nightmare to start collecting tax documents when you get into April. It's yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, what's tip number 2? That's a good one.
I would say communication. You get a lot of, taxes aren't fun. People hate them. They hate paying them. But the reality of it is they're not going away. Everyone has to deal with them. Communication is key. I run into a lot of instances where something may go on in a client's life. They use that. We use the term "you don't know what you don't know." So I'd like for people to think of their CPA more as a, I guess, not just a tax preparer, like a kind of think of him as a financial advisor.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tyler, I got this thing that I'm looking to purchase a house. How's it going to affect my taxes? Hey, I've been looking to get a new vehicle for business. Can you help me structure that? Is it better to lease? Is it better to buy? So just over communication is a good thing. I think it diminishes surprises, diminishes big tax bills. It makes your CPA, your preparer, feel a lot more comfortable when it comes time to get your return done. So that's another tip. That
Okay. Yeah, I love that one. I think that's the bedrock of a successful client relationship is there's strong response time back and forth. There's respect. There's follow through. Strong follow through. I think that's what sets a lot of professionals, the top performing professionals that people want to rave about. They're strong in follow through because people are busy. So there's strong communication between, and there's strong follow through on the professional side to keep the accountability going. So I love that one. All right, what's tip number 3?
I would say the biggest thing, and it kind of piggybacks on number 1, absolutely do not procrastinate. Because when you wait to collect your tax information and send it to your preparer, and the longer you wait, your preparer continues to get more stressed because the deadline's coming. So it's an easy way for preparers to make mistakes because of tiredness, burnout, what have you, and then you got to deal with if your return's done incorrectly, you got future notices you got to deal with. Just you're gonna end up creating more issues the longer you can procrastinate. And if your tax preparer is asking you questions, there is a reason they're doing it. They're not trying to bother you. They're not trying to ask you things that they don't need. There is a reason why they're asking you a certain question. So just do your best to not procrastinate, get your things done, get them in early, and it's just going to make things just work that much more smoothly.
Completely agree. The going on the more of the defensive side, if you were to say 3 tips of how to avoid tax stress or how to avoid crosshairs of the IRS, what would you say, just in general speaking, from the 14 years of experience you've had, what would be 3 things that you want to avoid?
I mean, I would say, I don't know if I have 3. I would just say the most important thing is always rely and seek help from an expert. There's so many avenues now. There's LinkedIn, there's TikTok, there's Twitter, what have you, that people are kind of just spewing things out there, and people read it and get it in their minds. Oh, I'm going to do this. Seek help. I think that's the biggest thing. You always hear, oh, I saw on social media this, I think I'm going to do that. Or I was talking to my friend, he's doing it this way, so I think I'm going to start doing it this way. Rely on your CPA, on your tax preparer, and I think that's the best way. When you're making any kind of financial decisions, reach out and ask how it's going to affect your taxes. I think that's the best way to avoid any surprises or audits or notices.
And just to be clear, this isn't like the justice system where, what is the saying, you're innocent until proven guilty. With the IRS, it's the opposite, right? You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. So if you get a notice, it's that's one thing, and I personally don't mess with the IRS. I want to keep them happy at all times. Obviously, I want to pay as little tax as possible, but it's not something that you mess with, in my opinion.
Yeah. Not only is it stressful trying to get things resolved, it takes so much time right now. I mean, it can take weeks, months, even over a year sometimes to get things resolved with the IRS. So it's good to do your best to avoid those.
What do you? So how? Any early predictions on Elon Musk? Didn't he just get hired on the task force to make the government more efficient? I was reading, and he's like, we're gonna get rid of this, basically this and this, and part of it was IRS. So no prediction.
No,
there.
I got no predictions. I tend to, there's so much stuff out there. I tend to not rely too much on it until it's actually kind of solidified and in place.
Smart.
Yeah. Because then you're just cramming your head full of stuff that was probably not necessary to begin with.
Gotcha. Okay, you're taking over someone's tax return. What are the most common ways that you've been able to find mistakes, save, actually go amend. I've seen this several times. You've been here a couple of days and you've already saved clients thousands of dollars on prior tax returns and just like getting ready for the new 2024 tax return. But yeah, what are the most common mistakes that you see? How do you find those?
Common one now that's getting more popular is the backdoor Roth, treating those incorrectly because the issuing company actually issues the 1099-R and puts a taxable amount in box 2. And so if a preparer just gets that and types it into a software as it is on its face and
Automatically goes in as taxable.
Yeah, it's taxable.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, as you know, the contributions were put in with already taxed dollars. You're taxing it again. That's double tax. That's one I see a lot. Other common ones, maybe you can take advantage of certain expenses for business owners that have a sole proprietorship on a Schedule C. Maybe you're missing, they're traveling. They don't keep track of their mileage. Maybe they're using their personal cell phone to make 80% of their calls are related to their business. You can take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. If you have a home office, a lot of times you don't see a home office deduction on there. So little things here and there, not anything that's going to sway things millions of dollars or anything, but just a way to save a few $100 here and there.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, we appreciate. We're going to do more of these educational type podcasts in the future. But yeah, we're looking forward to this 2024 tax return. And clients, please reach out if you have any questions to Tyler. Obviously, everyone's tax situation it is different, and if you're a business owner or a 1099, there's lots of unique things we can do to save as much taxes as possible, as legally as possible, and as streamlined as possible. So Tyler and the EWA team will help implement everything. But Tyler, thanks for joining.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to our podcast. Hopefully you found this helpful. Really hope this is as beneficial and impactful to as many people across the nation as possible. So hit the follow button. Make sure to rate the podcast, and please share with any friends or family members that would also find this beneficial. Thank you very much.